Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar today. I'm Jerry Crabtree. I'm the Executive Director for the Township Officials of Illinois. And we recently have gone through a change with our website program. And today we thought it beneficial to introduce not only the new vendor of the website program. I've got Dennis Pichard with me, who is a supervisor in Carbondale Township, but his company, Arthur Agency, has stepped up to the plate to assist us and take over what we've been offering since 2005, the Township Webinar Program. I started this program in 2006, and Dennis is going to walk through the conversion, the transition. I can tell you that the reason we had to look for another vendor was because security costs and the costs of where we were at with our current vendor were increasing, and we have not had an increase in this program since 2006. So, and I think just the cost of business after the pandemic. Our goal with this program, and Dennis is going to highlight that, is to provide townships an opportunity to have access to be on the web, have a website that promotes what you do in township government. And I think that this program, yes, it's an increase in cost, but you get much more than we were ever able to provide when we did it. So with that, we will have a program. There'll be time at the end for questions. If you have a question in the meantime, go ahead and drop them in the chat box. And with that, I'll introduce Dennis Pichard.
No, thanks, Jerry. Let me pull up my screen share here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Assuming everybody can see the presentation now. Yeah, so today I just wanted to kind of get into, not only the new program that we're offering, but I wanted to provide a little bit of education about websites as well, just to kind of, make sure people have a good handle on, why you should have an up-to-date website and why it's important, and also teach you a little bit about what's important in obtaining a new website. So as Jerry said, my name is Dennis Pichard. I'm, in addition to being the owner of Arthur Agency, I am the Carbondale Township Supervisor. I've been the Carbondale Township Supervisor for a little over 6 years now. So like most of you online, I'm very familiar with township government and really enjoy it, and I'm kind of passionate about it. So I'm really excited to be a part of being able to offer this program. Like I said, in addition to Township Supervisor, I'm the owner of Arthur Agency. That's kind of my day job, the job that pays the bills, as they say, since we all know how much township government pays. Arthur Agency is a full-service advertising and marketing firm, founded in 2003. So we're actually in our 21st year now. We celebrate our 20 years in June. And we've pretty much been developing websites for 20 plus years now, since the beginning. So we've learned a thing or two over the years about websites and what makes a good website versus a bad website. And I think our design and other things speak for itself, and I'll let you be the judge of that as we move forward. So just to kind of talk a little bit about the partnership and how it got started, where it came from in the first place. I, as I said, have been township supervisor for 6 years, and we were a participating member of TOI, or have been for a long time, and we've been using had been using the TOI website program since I took over as supervisor. And like anything, at some point, it just became, the old saying, the cobbler's kids are the last to get new shoes. It took me a long time to make the time with our Arthur Agency staff to build a new website for Carbondale Township, but I ultimately decided it needed to be done, and we did it at Arthur Agency for free, of course, because nobody likes a conflict of interest. And so anyway, once we built that new website, we showed it to TOI and kind of approached them about the possibility of a partnership. Turned out, I think the timing was really good because TOI was already in talks to move or do a new website for TOI, which would necessitate them moving to a new server and a new platform, which would also kind of necessitate a new web program. So on April 20th, I went and met with the board in Springfield, and they approved for Arthur Agency to take over and implement a new Totally Townships website program. We launched Totally Townships the first week of July, and started off a little bit slow, but we currently have close to 30 townships in the new program right now. It's gone really smoothly. Everybody that, is a member of the current program has been very happy. And so I'll talk a little more about that as we go. Before I dive into the program, though, I want to talk a little bit about what is it that makes a good website. As I said, we've been doing this a little over 20 plus years, and I think you can kind of boil it down to 5 key components without getting into all the technical stuff and other things. I think, for the purposes of this presentation, it's really 5 key components. You have visual design. How's it look and feel? The user experience, how does the user interact? What is their experience when they use your website? The content quality, what is on the site? Is it relevant? Is it timely? Is it good information? The functionality of the website, how does it work? And the hosting. Those are 5 kind of key components that I want you to keep in mind, and I'll talk a little bit about each of those. Of those 5 components, the new program really does an amazing job with visual design, user experience, functionality, and hosting. The content quality, though, kind of like the old program, is really up to you, the end user, to make sure that you're updating the site regularly. I think we've done a good job of, as you'll see later, setting up for success and making it as easy as possible for you to upload content, new minutes, new agendas, your budgets, levies, add new pages as you develop new services or new information for your residents, et cetera. But it's really ultimately up to you to keep that content quality level high. Moving on, visual design. So what's important in visual design is consistency and branding and aesthetics. So as you go from page to page, there's not wild swings in font usages or page colors or backgrounds, or one image is giant on one page and tiny on the next. Consistency of your brand and your aesthetics is important. Use of an appealing color palette, something that's current and is really attractive. Thoughtful typography choices so that we kind of lock into a couple of main typography choices and don't just throw in everything that we possibly can just because we can. High quality images and graphics, including graphics and images that are elevating your brand rather than something that's taking away from it or distracting to the end user. And it needs to have a very intuitive and clean layout. The user experience, easy navigation and clear site structure is very important for the user navigation or for the user experience. How do they get to your minutes? Is it 6 clicks? Is it 1 or 2 clicks? Is it pretty intuitive for how they get there? Responsive design for various devices is critical as well. So when you go from a desktop to looking at it on your phone, it's just as easy to navigate it as it is, when you were looking at it on your desktop. Fast loading times, intuitive and user-friendly interface, and accessibility features for all users as well. So things like alt tags for images is really important for accessibility, so that when someone who's visual impaired is using a reader to read your website to them, when the reader gets to an image, it doesn't stumble at that point, it's able to clearly read the alt text that you associated with that image to tell that person, with the disability, what they're missing with that image. Content quality, relevant, informative, and engaging content. So things that people would be coming to your website to look at from a township perspective. What's on the agenda? Have you posted your minutes? How do I file a FOIA request? Where can I find information about your snow plowing routes? Things of that nature. Content that is, that a typical user would want to be going and taking a look at. Making sure that as things change, if you have a board member that resigns and you appoint a new board member, making sure that you're changing out a photograph and content information, contact information. Really pay attention to your grammar and your spelling. Really put your best foot forward as opposed to, making people question when they see multiple grammar and spelling errors. Clear, concise messaging. Don't just put content on there for the sake of content. Make sure that what you're putting on there is clear and concise. Use a consistent tone and voice to your content and your text. And then regularly update your information. That's important as well with the quality of the content. Functionality, like I mentioned earlier, mobile responsiveness is huge. Depending on the website, but a typical website now, the traffic to the website is averaging close to 50% of users are accessing that website with a mobile device now rather than from a desktop or a laptop. Mobile responsiveness is really important in terms of the, as far as features on your website, so that there's an intuitive menu from a mobile device rather than someone having to scroll all the way down to the bottom to find the mobile links to be able to navigate your website. Cross-browser compatibility. It ought to look the same in, an iOS device on Safari or an Apple device on Safari versus a Google Chrome device, or even Internet Explorer. It should function the same and look the same and be compatible across many browser types. It needs to have functional links and buttons. Make sure you don't have a lot of broken links, buttons that don't work, etc. Secure and reliable hosting, and it must be compatible with your content management system. So having a content management system that you can easily change out and upload and new content and make changes to your website is important. Hosting. Important things there are security, performance, analytics, and ongoing maintenance. So security is really important so that, somebody can't hack your website, put something nefarious on it. So having regular updates to the various software that runs your website and that your website is hosted on is important for security purposes. Performance, your hosting ought to, have a very solid uptime, literally minimal downtime, only for maintenance, and usually at between the hours of like 1 and 2 in the morning for a total of 30 minutes once a quarter to upload new security things and that nature. Needs to have analytics installed, or at least allow for analytics. And it should have the ability to do ongoing maintenance as well with your hosting. Let me talk a little bit now and get into the current TOI program. That's really important that we spend a little time talking about that. So the current TOI program, just kind of threw up Sycamore Township there for you to look at. And no offense, Jerry, you said 2006, so I had it wrong. I said 2007, a pretty outdated design. It's not really up to current design standards. And so, it's important that your website be up to current design standards. It's a relatively poor user experience. Some townships do it better than others because You have full ability to change your navigational structure on the right side of the screen. And so, sometimes that has resulted in a decent navigation. Sometimes it has become very clunky. It's not mobile friendly. All that navigation on the right, when you look at it on a phone, you have to scroll all the way through all of the homepage information to the bottom to get to your navigation. And then I've been told, as we've been working through, selling new websites to townships, that the CMS sometimes is a little bit clunky in terms of the administration. I've had townships even tell me they've had to find workarounds where they're putting minutes and agendas in a Dropbox and then providing links from the website to it and other things. And then finally, I mean, the one also very important thing is it's technically not its own website. The current TOI program is technically a subdomain. So that has to do with the fact that you don't have your own URL. It's actually hosted at TOI dot, so your web address will be like TOI.org/ websites slash, county dash McLean dash whatever township.org. It's a very long domain that's hard to share, but also it's not technically its own standalone website. Whereas if you had, say, www.sycamoretownship.org, that would be a standalone website and not a subdomain of TOI's main website. And that's kind of important so that, like, when TOI decides to change their website or do something else, your website is truly a standalone website, and other changes won't affect it. Let's get into the new Totally Townships program. Some of the advantages of the new program: it meets current industry design standards. The user interface is very mobile friendly, and it includes responsive design, so you can look at it on a laptop, desktop, phone, iPad, whatever you choose to look at it on. It should function just the same. We provided for the ability for it to be ADA compliant. When we're doing conversions of existing TOI websites, we're making sure to include alt tags for images. And then if you're a new participant in the program, we start off with all of the images being ADA compliant. And then we provide for every time you upload a new image on your own, after you take it over, the ability to easily add an alt tag for every single one. And we kind of highlight that and push you to do it to try to keep it ADA compliant. It helps with meeting Open Meetings Act requirements by allowing you to post your agendas. It helps with, you can post your RFPs, you can post your minutes, you can put a spot for someone to request a Freedom of Information Act request. It's just really kind of helps with you doing your business of the township, which really results in improved community engagement. In addition, every one of the Totally Townships websites has a custom URL and is a standalone website. There are three main plans that are offered to townships to participate. There's a basic plan. Excuse me. It's a very simple, basic 5 to 7 page site. It includes all of the information, minimal information that you would need to put out there. Who are your officers? How do people contact you? The calendar of events for you to put your meetings and post them, and a document section for you to post minutes, agendas, and other things. And it's pretty straightforward. It has a $299.99 one-time setup fee, and then $69.99 a month. for the ongoing fee for maintenance and hosting and other things. The pro plan is $99.99 a month. It's $499.99 one-time setup fee. It's a unlimited number of pages on the pro plan. You can, as you add services or activities of your township that you want to promote on your website, there's no limit to the number of things that you can add and promote. There's also a Pro Plus plan. The Pro Plus plan has the same setup fee. It costs more per month. The Pro Plus plan is the exact same website as the Pro plan. The only difference is if you don't have anybody in your township who's capable of updating your website, you don't want to learn how to update your website, you're worried about someone getting trained and then having turnover and then, nobody to maintain it. The Pro Plus, we will do all the maintenance for you. Instead of, having to load your minutes, agendas, things like that, or go in and make changes to pages. If, you have a trustee leave and you appoint a new board member, we can make all of those changes for you under the Pro Plus plan. It's a full service offering. How does it work? First, you start by choosing your plan. You kind of decide which one makes the most sense for you and your township based on the size of your township, the amount of information you want to put out to your residents, et cetera. And we'll go through some samples that'll give you the ability to kind of take a look at those shortly. Then you start by uploading all of your information that you want to go on your site. So basically all of your content. And it's, wait, let me go back real quick. So when you choose your site, you also, when you do it on the website, it will walk you through all of the billing information and everything else, and it will set up and take payment for your setup fee, or it'll offer to bill you for your setup fee for those of you who maybe want to write a check or pay through a different means. Once you pay for your setup fee, that's when we get into the upload functionality. You upload the content you'll be given a link where you, with the login information, you go and you log in and it'll start by asking you, do you have a logo? Please upload your logo here. It'll ask you what content do you want on your main page. Do you have a picture preferred picture that you would like for your main page? And it just step by step walks you through a questionnaire that if you just fill it out, will give us all of the necessary information to then build out your website. So once you go through that process, there may be parts and pieces of it that you don't want to do. You can just skip and go to the next screen, whatever. But ultimately, when you're done uploading everything, and you'll be able to, if you can't do it all in one sitting, you can walk away and come back to it. And then ultimately, when you're done, you hit submit. After you hit submit, your information's all uploaded into our system. You sit back and wait. We will then assign it to one of our web builders. They will start the process of building out your site. Currently takes about 2 weeks or so, a little less in some instances, depends on how much content and information you have, but week to 10 days, you'll be getting then an email that's saying, hey, your website is now done and approved or done and ready for your review and approval. You will be able to then, it will not be a live site. It'll be a test version of your site that looks exactly like your live site will. You'll have the chance to review it. Tell us if maybe we accidentally, in our cut and paste, of a certain amount of content, we missed something, or, we misspelled somebody's name or something of that nature. Once you give us approval, though, then we take the site live. We send you an invoice, your first invoice and a contract for your monthly fee. And we will also send you login information for you to be able to access the content management system or the back end administrative part of your website. And we will send you a user guide instruction manual that will allow you to, or walk you through how to do things like add a new calendar or event item. It'll walk you through how to upload your minutes and agendas and things of that nature. And then from that point forward, it's really kind of up to you to maintain it. Obviously, we stand here to support you if you have questions or things of that nature. But basically, we take care of making sure the servers are all functioning the way they're supposed to, and making sure that everything's up and running and functioning the way it's supposed to. But it becomes kind of your responsibility, unless you're under the Pro Plus plan, to maintain it, month to month. So one caveat to all of that I just walked you through, if you're a member of the existing TOI website program, it works a little different. The reason is we set it up. There's 1,426 townships, I believe, in the state of Illinois. And we set it up to go and, try to, provide that service to all of them who are members of TOI. But if you're one of the 80 some odd folks who are currently participating in the TOI web program, we are currently offering $175 setup fee discount if you commit by the end of September to participate in the Totally Townships program. So if you're getting a basic plan, that makes your setup fee $124.99. If you're getting a Pro plan or a Pro Plus plan, that makes your setup fee $324.99. And that includes porting over all of your content from your existing TOI site. So, I mean, if you have 6 years of minutes and agendas on your existing TOI site, we take care of moving all of that over, setting it up on your new website. What it does not include is developing any new pages or content. So if you don't currently have a senior citizen center page on your existing site and you want one on your new site, that's not part of the setup fee. Now you'll still be able to add that if you're under a Pro plan, but that's something that we would work with you for you to do after taking over control of your site. But instead of going online and picking your plan and going through that process, you have to call me to lock in that discount. You can't get it by signing up online because, again, that was designed to work for the other 1,300 and some odd townships who weren't currently participating. So from the time that we process the payment of your setup fee to the completion is approximately 2 weeks, give or take. So let me show you a couple before and afters, and then maybe we'll get into some samples. So here's what Sycamore Township used to look like under the current program. On the right is the new Sycamore Township website. Top navigation. When you shrink it down into its responsive designed mobile friendly version, you can see the little, what we call hamburger menu on the top right, the 3 lines that when you tap them with your finger on your phone, that flies out a whole navigation for your site. It's a lot more clean, modern design. As I mentioned, it's an interesting color palette. We've picked a very clear, clean, easy to read font that runs throughout the site. And I think it really is a big contrast. Sycamore was one of our first townships, and Amy Matthew, the supervisor there, was great to work with. And she sent us, some glowing remarks afterwards saying how easy it was and how awesome the new town website is compared to the old website. Here's an example of what I was talking about with regard to the responsive design. McAnda Township, in terms of being mobile friendly, if you look at the one on the left, you don't even realize there's navigation. You have to literally scroll all the way to the bottom of the screen to figure out that there's navigation down there. Whereas on the right, I think we all know now who have a smartphone who navigate websites via that smartphone browser. That little 3-line top right corner icon. If you tap it, then that's where all your navigation drops down. So that works out pretty well. Site administration. So I just wanted to give you a little preview of that too. So it is a WordPress based content management system. So if you're familiar with that already, that's great. You're going to find this super easy. If you're not familiar with it, you're still going to find it relatively easy. So essentially you'll be sent a link to your administrative login page. You will be given a username and a password. You log in. Up will pop a dashboard that will show you a screen of kind of your website and what, the different nav on the left that shows you how to, update posts or media or pages or add a, calendar item to my calendar, etc. And then once you start getting into it, this is what it looks like. So if you want to update a page that's on your website currently, you click on pages and you see, oh, there's the clerk, and you just go and you tap the clerk page. It'll pop up. It's very similar looking to, say, Microsoft Word document or a Google Doc, if you're familiar with Google Documents, and you just edit your text, change, whatever you need to do in that regard, and then you save your changes and it updates it immediately on the website. If you want to add a calendar item, you just go to My Calendar, and it's like adding an item to a calendar. You pick your date, add your day and time, you name your event, and you can give a description of it. And then when you save it, not only does it save it to your calendar, though, you'll see there's a section at the bottom of the new website on the main homepage where it highlights the, chronologically the most current upcoming events. So let's check out some examples real quick. I'm going to log out of there and pull up my browser and show you. Can everybody still see my screen? I'm going to assume so. So here is the old
Yes,
Sycamore.
we can. Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay. Thanks, Chair. Here's the old Sycamore Township website that I was showing you earlier. Right navigation, the download center, is just kind of a jumbled archive. They do have some things, divided by minutes and agendas and stuff. So here's what the new Sycamore Township looks like. There's a drop-down menu now for different services and things. So to go to the general assistance page or to learn about their, free notary public service, you just can drop down and go straight to it. The documents section, the agendas are all under agendas now, with a drop down, for you to, keep them straight. Your minutes are, listed in a minute. So, but on the back end of this, you're able to kind of create whatever folders you would like and whatever folders you make the most sense. And then you add your documents to those folders. So, in this instance, we created an archive as well for some very old documents that they had on their old website. So, another example, Carbondale Township's old website. Here's the new website. And you scroll down, there's some main links that'll take you to different things. So like, here's the upcoming events section at the bottom of the main page that I mentioned. That's another way to get to the calendar that without going up to meetings and events. But when you add a new meeting and event, like the Sierra Club board meeting here at the top of the upcoming events, you only add it once and it adds it to the calendar. So it's added here on the calendar, as well as added to, the main page at the bottom based on your chronological order. There's also some call outs on the main page, which kind of make it easier for people to get to certain things. So if they are looking for minutes or agendas, or they want to go straight to the events calendar or document downloads or the officials page, they can just click right there and go straight to an officials page. Or you can go straight to the clerk page if by using the drop down upper menu. But it makes it user friendly and very easy. So that, if you want to learn more about services, you can click here and go to the services page with some, fire department listed, and you can learn more about our fire department, or you can get to it, using the drop down menu as well. So it just, by having some of these call outs on the main page, if there's particular services or particular things you want to highlight for your users, your town residents, you can, link directly from these different call out types, and you can change out these pictures and other things very easily using the backend administrative feature. Couple more. Here's a McCown Township before and after. You can see they don't all use the same color palette. There is when you go into the questionnaire and it walks you through like all of your content, you're also able to select a specific color palette, and we'll build the site based on your color palette. Here's Granite City, before, after. Again, pretty straightforward. So just wanted to kind of walk you through some of those and give you an example of what it might look like. So at this point, I guess I would go ahead and try to answer any questions that
Yeah,
anybody.
we've got a few questions in the queue here. First one, do you assist in securing a domain? And is it a .gov, or why don't you go over that, how that all works?
Okay, so we do assist in securing a domain. We do that, and that's included in your setup fee, and it's also included in your monthly fee. You don't ever pay separately for a domain outside of the fees that we charge. So we renew it every year based on, your monthly fees. Now, in terms of a .gov, typically so far, like if you were paying attention when I was going through the examples, there's CarbondaleTownship.org, SycamoreTownshipIL.org. So the .gov, you can probably acquire that. It's a more complex process to acquire a .gov. You would have to do it personally, and we can kind of coach you a little bit of how to do it, but they're going to call you and confirm, and that there's a higher level of scrutiny into acquiring a .gov versus a .org or a .com. So so far, everybody who we've done a website for under the new program has chosen to go with a .gov or a .com for ease of getting it done. And because they didn't want to have to worry about, with a .gov, you have to every so often go through renewing it, and it's a similar process
And
each time.
that kind of answers the next question of how do you update a township website from a .com to a .gov? I think you answered that one.
Yeah, so there is a process that you can use to do that through the domain registrations. It's not super complicated. It's just there's a lot more steps to it than just acquiring a .org or a .com.
This is from Norm Davis asks, so we have our own our own domain URL. Do these reoccurring fees still apply if I don't use your site as a host?
So I guess that would be up to you. So let me explain it. So if you have a .com or a .org or whatever that your township has already acquired, and let's say you have 10 mailboxes for your officers and your staff that are using that URL, we can use that one existing one already if you want. We would basically work with whoever registered it or your IT person to give us access to do what's called change the DNS settings. That just basically is changing the settings in the registry that tell a browser and the internet where to go find your website. So if someone's putting in that URL, it says go to this DNS setting, this server setting, to find this website. So we could we could set you up with your current domain that you already own, If you wanted us to take it over, we would be happy to do that and include it in the fee. But if we don't take it over, you're going to get billed for it every so often anyway. In terms of, I see that someone just mentioned that, the .gov is free, and I believe that is true. It just is more of a, process than just going out and, spending 10 or 12 bucks to acquire a .com or a .org. So
Someone's asking about the access and security. You see one person with, superior control and then limited access, kind of go
oh,
through. Good
I follow.
question.
Yeah, so you're asking, can you set up like a multi-level access? So let's say that you're a big enough township that you want one person to be able to update your general assistance information, but they can't update anything else. And you have another person that you can only update the board officers and elected officials and whatnot. That's We don't set that up standard, but we can definitely do that if you request it. It's not that hard to do, and it's not something I would take the time to charge you extra for, because it's not that hard to do, but you would just have to take the time to define to us, based on your new site, okay, I need this email address to be able to log in and only make these changes, and I need this email address to log in and make these changes, and then I need a global administrator who can make any changes. We can do that, and we can accommodate that. We don't set that up standard, but like I said, we'd be happy to do that if that's something you need done.
And then the next question, I guess I can kind of answer, are the old TOI hosted sites going away? And this is how that's going to work. We're not going to kick anybody off the server. I've got an agreement with our provider here that has caused this change, that eventually you're going to have to find a new home. And we're hoping by the end of October, you can, find out where you're going to move your website if you choose not to go with Arthur Agency and the Totally Townships program. But I will work with any townships individually after the end of October to kind of see where we're at, if we've got some that are still out there, because the bottom line is we have to make the change for affordability, and the new security software that we were required to do is not going to hold on to all of the websites forever, but they're not going to there's not a hard cutoff date is I guess the best way to answer that question. Do you have anything to add to that, Dennis?
Well, just, the sooner the better, because you're going to have costs associated with having to move anybody who's not participating under the new program or hasn't developed a new website, that are going to be ongoing costs to move the remaining ones over to your new server. So that's something that, for TOI's sake, the sooner the better for everybody who, can, to go ahead and, select a new option, whether it's the Totally Townships option or whether it's a different vendor. It would be good for TOI for you to do that. Not to mention it's good for your, residents to have an improved.
What we'll probably do is see who's left in the program towards the end of October. I'll make one more attempt to let them know what's going to happen, and then we'll work individually from there. But I think that one of the things that Arthur Agency provides that we were never allowed to provide is more of a palette, more of a design feature, more individual access through creativity of whoever you have running the township. We were very successful in securing legislative language that you're only required to post meeting minutes if you have a full-time web developer. It doesn't include part-time. In all the years I've been doing this, one of the issues is when you have a change in the board, you'll have somebody who's very internet driven, and then you get a new board after an election, and maybe that person was replaced or they've retired, and the level of interest in website development. But I also piggyback on that statement with the internet is so much a requirement of what we do in local government that it's important to have a website that's functional, that everybody does access on your phone. I mean, I can tell you from being involved in planning almost 20 annual conferences, we now use an app, and we average about a 56% participation rate of all the people who attend our conference. They download the app and work through it. I say that to tell you that even past the pandemic, more and more of our members are using the internet, using iPads, using all kinds of access points to get into the internet. My goal is to make an affordable option, and I think this is very affordable. As I indicated when we started, we came in this in 2005, 6, and 7 in there, and I've worked very hard never to change the price, knowing that one day it would come where we were required to make a change because of the cost of technology. Have a couple more questions. I do not know website language. I don't either. What's alt tag mean? I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback on something you were saying first, just real quick, which was just that, for folks who might run into the problem that you brought up, which is you have a very techie, web savvy board, and then it changes, and now all of a sudden you don't. If you're in our program, if you're on a base or you're on a Pro Plus plan, you can always upgrade on the Pro plan, you can always upgrade to a Pro Plus plan should you need to down the road, even for a period of time, and we'll do all your maintenance for you. And now back to the question you were asking about the alt text. That is essentially if you're uploading a photo and it's a photo of your fire department, nobody would know if they're visually impaired, if what that photo is of. The reader's just going to say photo. But if you have alt text in there, it will say photo of, Carbondale Township Fire Department, building with firefighters, training or something. So you can put in an alt text description of a photo, and that really helps for ADA compliance. Someone mentioned, final question here about analytics. So the way that we've handled analytics, we absolutely allow for analytics, rather though than trying to have a master analytics account. What we do is we work with each township individually if they want analytics, because several have said they don't want it or care. If they want it, though, we basically have real simple instructions that will walk you through how to set up a Google Analytics account. And we ask you to do that on your end and then provide us with the necessary, there's a snippet of information that we've got to get from you that we just program in and include in the website before we launch it. And then you'll be able to access your Google Analytics at any time of the day, night, 24/7, 365 to see who's looking at your website, where they're coming from, what they're doing. So we have accommodated for it. We don't do it for you. It's just easier long term if every township has their own analytics than it trying to be administered under a global analytics account. So.
And one thing I'd like to point out too is Dennis and some of his team, I believe, from Arthur Agency are going to be at the fall conference in the exhibit hall. They're going to be answering questions for anybody who's concerned about the transition. Most of them will be in the works by then. Someone asked about your turnaround time with so many townships, making the conversion. Your team is kind of trying to roll that out as it happens. The main thing that we want to convey on behalf of the association is this was not an easy decision to make. But I made the recommendation to the board, and the board's endorsed it because it was the best direction to go in light of what we want our townships to have access to, and that is a solid platform that's affordable. I know that many of you are getting berated with emails from other providers. I think the word hit the street that we were doing a conversion. This was a very affordable program. It was very limited for a long time, and there are other places that you can go, but I can tell you in securing the contract with Arthur Agency, because they are so familiar with what township government does, our goals and objectives, as well as being a member of our organization, they are going to be there to help you all the way through the transition. If you've got some unique characteristic or unique request, Dennis is not going to not try his best to meet that need of what you are trying to achieve. And I think that's a personal connection that you will not get with some of these other big box website development companies. our goal still is consistent and the same, and that's to allow townships, regardless of size and budget, an opportunity to be on the web. And this is still cheaper than doing a newsletter and mailing it to every resident in your township. I've used that scenario for a long time, that if you tried to mail a newsletter quarterly to every person in your constituency or your township, 6 mile square, you'd spend a lot more than these planned defined by 12. So that's but final thoughts. If there's one more question, I think. Dennis, any final thoughts from you?
No, I don't think so. The only final thought is, if you want to, participate, and you're welcome to email me at Dennis, DENNIS at ARTHURAGENCY, Dennis at arthuragency.com. Or my cell number, I'm going to give you my cell number, is 618-319-3384. And I've literally talked people through the web program on Saturdays, and other times I'm here anytime, happy to help. So if you have any questions at all, please do call me and or send me an email, and I'll be happy to answer anything I can. I did see one person in the Q&A asked for us to reach out, and I'll make sure and follow up after the meeting.
And it is going to, someone's asking if it's going to be recorded. Yes, and we're going to post it on our website, because that may help townships that call and want to be introduced to the program. So we're recording this, and I'll drop it on the website after we get done today.
Yeah.
Can you electronically debit the monthly fee? Absolutely.
Yes, we can do ACH. You can go ahead and authorize a recurring transfer via a credit card, whatever your preference. If you want to be billed monthly, we've also been asked if we can bill for a year at a time, and yes, we can do that too. So it's really up to, we try to be as flexible as we can on the billing side, because I know every township is unique and different. Some of the little townships, they meet once a month, and they will not send a check without everybody in the township approving it, and that's fine. That's a good practice. But they don't even have a credit card. They don't do ACH. So we try to accommodate every township and meet them at their level. So.
Well, Dennis, we finished at 12:52, almost 1 hour. On behalf of the TOI Board of Directors, and I know, and my staff here in Springfield, we thank you for taking time to do this today. And as I indicated, we're going to, it's recorded. I'll drop it on the website. Don't forget to attend the fall conference. And again, also watch for our complete list of webinars, professional development days, and educational programs we do. We try to meet all the needs of township officials, but most importantly, we thank all of the participants today for taking the time out of their lunch hour to learn more about this program. Call my office or Dennis's, and we'll be happy to help you any way we can. Everybody have a great week.
Thank you.